Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes. This day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
If I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, receives it, it's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Well, hello, everyone. Oh, I'm a little droopy here. Well, hello, everyone. How are you doing? Let me do a brief intro, but we do have a guest. So I want to get the guest on as soon as possible. God, I look really droopy. That is not good. I am falling apart here. But I want to get the guest on as soon as possible. I could always do a lot of the grifting, a lot of the shameless grifting later. But there are multiple unfolding situations going on right now. I promised you guys we would delve in very deeply into Massachusetts. But a situation happened earlier today with the Arizona Libertarian Party. But as usual, I want to invite comments in the comment screen. This is always a participatory show. I like when you guys comment because I hate hearing myself drone on and on. I have to do that all day as it is, and you might have questions. So let me just lay the groundwork for you before I bring on the guest, who is Lauren, who is the communications director of the Arizona Libertarian Party. And yes, Arizona is one of the states that doesn't say Libertarian Party of Arizona. It is Arizona Libertarian Party. I think there's only 6 states that follow that format. Point of trivia. I just love that kind of stuff. But apparently some people today got a text. There was a mass texting to help promote their convention, which is a really wise marketing strategy. It was done by a volunteer. You never can know what volunteers are going to do. Sometimes volunteers nut up. I've had plenty of volunteers nut up. That's just the way it is. And apparently a text went out by a volunteer. It was not a member of the Arizona Libertarian Party. That said, something that is not endorsed by the Arizona Libertarian Party. I'll let you know what it is, and then we'll move on to just get Lauren on so she could explain and clear her name. And the reason why I invited Lauren on is this particular text, which was not sent by her, had her signature on it. So a lot of people out there today think that she sent out a slanderous text. And basically what the text had said, it was inviting people to the Arizona convention and to some training sessions they were having. And whenever anyone responded like, why do I want to go to that? Or why should I be there? This volunteer responded something to the effect of, and this will be close to an exact quote, because we are in danger of a right-wing extremist takeover. Basically referring to the Mises Caucus without referring to the Mises Caucus. And I have to tell you, and it was signed with this lady's name, attributing it to her. So obviously there are people online who are very angry at her, but she did not send this text, and this is not her opinion. But let's let her talk to for herself. I told her I'd let her have a few minutes at the beginning of the show, even though I promised you all Massachusetts. Paul Lynch, the name of the song is Battle Scars, but it's not the original. It's a remix. If you shoot me a PM or an email, I'll get you the link to the remix. It is pretty badass. Now, Lauren said she couldn't get her headphones working, so we're going to try to work around whatever echo we may have. When I'm talking, she may need to turn down her volume. Like we might need to pause between each of us talking and then turn it back up. But I want her to be able to speak for herself, because this isn't fair that something is being attributed to her that is not her words. Like all libertarians, we all say enough stupid shit of our own that we don't need to get in trouble for stupid shit that's not our own. So I got to look at my screen here because I don't have guests very often. I think, here we go. How you doing, Lauren? Oh, I don't have
Hi,
your
I'm
sound.
doing okay. How's the sound?
Yeah,
Is it all right?
Let me pull you up a little. Okay. Yeah, speak up, because for some reason you're a little low because you're using your computer audio.
I am, yeah. Is that better?
Scream. use your big room voice. So let us know what went on and what you'd like to say, because I feel really, really bad about what happened to you today.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to even come on here and clarify this, because I didn't even know anything happened. I was at work and all of a sudden my phone blew up. I had like 50 messages and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So this person is a volunteer. We had gotten his information through an associate of Spike Cohen. So we thought, okay, cool. Spike uses this guy and he must be legit. So I was asked to help facilitate setting up the text banking, since I had the experience from the Joe 20 campaign as a text banking coordinator for Arizona State. And I recognized the guy was the one that was doing the training for Joe 20. So I was like, oh, cool. Didn't think anything of it. I mean, never in a million years did I ever think that this would have been the way things went down. And he, in my opinion, was very misleading about what information he needed in order to be able to set up the text banking thing. I was not able to log into it. I ended up giving him all of the information over the phone. And my husband was actually there and he heard everything on speakerphone. Like there was nothing to hide about it. But you know, pretty much he wasn't vetted. And
But let me say something in your defense. I retain volunteers all the time. I would never in a million years think to ask the guy, are you going to start slandering people over text if I volunteer? It's like I said and in defense of the Spike team, the manager of the Spike team talked to me today. They're not working with this guy anymore. They disavow what he did. But just like I said to that guy, don't feel bad. It would be like saying, you're not going to spam child porn, are you? Like, you don't expect a volunteer to nut up. And when they nut up, they nut up. So I just wanted to, in your defense, I don't think you did anything wrong. Like, what kind of vetting could you have done? Like, you want to help? You want to send this? Fine. Like, it would never have occurred to me to ask any questions like that. So I don't blame you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And honestly, yeah, being that he had that referral from Brian with Spike's team, and then having worked with him on, like I said, the Jorgensen campaign, I thought that was okay. I mean, that's kind of vetted already. What more, like you said, what more can you ask to say, hey, are you going to go off the rails and completely slander my name today? So, it's definitely, what he had said, it does not reflect at all the values of the Arizona Libertarian Party. We would never, ever attempt to influence anybody's vote on internal elections, external elections, ever. I mean, we are huge proponents of due process, as all libertarians are. So we would absolutely never in a million years have signed off on that. And for anybody that doesn't know, with the text banking thing, you can go off script. So there are pre-written scripted answers that he and I had came up with, and I was like, okay, great, easy enough, dates, times, links to get the tickets, cool, cut and dry. He obviously went very far off script, and that was, completely inappropriate. And when I contacted him about it, I asked him for, to release an explanation or at least do something to correct this slandering of my name. And he was like, no, I did this for free. You guys can, do your own text banking and pay for it then. And thought that because he was a volunteer and he did this for free, that was okay.
And just for my audience to know, Lauren showed me screenshots of this exchange. Like, she's completely telling the truth. This guy responded to her really snotty by basically saying, well, then pay your own $350 next time. And I found out from Brian that apparently this guy pays a subscription fee to a text thing, and he likes volunteering the service, which is nice as long as you don't slander people. It would have been one thing if he signed his own name to it. It still would have been bad, but not as bad as signing your name to it.
Right. Exactly. I'm like, for free, you can keep that. I don't need it.
Yeah. Now I know if he offers to Colorado, no, ma'am, not today, Satan.
Exactly. A lesson learned the hard way.
Yeah. And listen, I've been going to the Arizona convention since 2017. I love Arizona. You're the first convention of the year. Emily is a dear friend of mine. And when I first saw the thing, I'll tell you, at first I was pissed. And I didn't believe you. When I saw it was your name, I said to Alex, this isn't the Lauren I know, is it?
Thank you. Thank you.
We only met once, but I think I'm a fairly good judge of character. Plus, you dress way too cool to send terrible. That eyeliner, I just have to say, I am so fucking jealous right now. Oh my God, your eyeliner looks so good.
Thank you. I'll do yours when you come to Arizona next weekend.
I've got the most hooded eyes in the fucking world.
Me too. There's a trick.
Yep.
You got to actually draw it.
Yep, I know. You got to do the...
Yep. Geometry, I don't know.
I know. I learned that the hard way. Oh, but listen, I am so glad I gave you the opportunity to do that. I did not want the Arizona Libertarian Party or yourself to be painted in a bad light. So I really wanted to give this opportunity to clear this up. And just so you know, I'm going to eat, because this is going to be, I'm doing a long show in Massachusetts. I'm going to extract out this portion and make it its own standalone show tomorrow, just so that people can find it easily and not have to listen for, this could be a 2-hour long show. And because I don't want you, I know how the social media, I don't want to call them a mob, because it's perfectly understandable for them to trust that text and think it was you.
Yes.
And be mad. But I don't want that. I don't want people sicked on you because you didn't do it. And I think you're a sweetheart, and I just didn't want to see that happen to you.
Thank you again. I really can't say it enough. I truly appreciate you just giving me the opportunity to speak on it. So thank you, Karen.
Well, thank you. And I will see you this weekend, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you, Lauren, for clearing this up. A lot of people wouldn't have the integrity to do that. So I thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. I can't wait.
Okay, see you soon. You have a good night. All right, bye-bye. Isn't that something? And I'm not going to protect the person that did it. I wasn't going to put Lauren on the spot. I don't want a state committee member to throw a volunteer under the bus. I will. It was Ryan Cooper, who allegedly lives in Utah now, was originally in the Libertarian Party of Washington. So y'all wanted me to name names? I'm naming names. I did not want to ask Lauren to name names because I think that's a terrible position to put somebody in a leadership position in the party in. I wouldn't ask her to do that because I think, like, I would never name a Colorado volunteer. I would not throw a Colorado volunteer under the bus. But this person does not even live in Arizona. She had no reason to doubt his bona fides, where he would say, hey, I have this $350 a month resource. I want to put it to use for you. I would have jumped at that chance if I were I used to be the communications director of the Libertarian Party of Colorado. So I know exactly the job she does. I would have jumped at the chance, and it never would have occurred to me. She went over scripts with him. And he told her that the texting program, and I actually think this might be true because of the Can Spam Act, that the texting program had to have a name and contact information associated with it. So she said, fine, I'm the communications director, put my name and the AZLP general email address. So when I first saw this, I was mad. Alex Flores will tell you, I wrote him and I was cussing mad. But he straightened it right out for me. He got me in touch with Lauren, and he got me in touch with the person who's in charge of Spike's volunteers. Spike Cohen had nothing to do with this. The AZLP had nothing to do with this. This was Ryan Cooper going rogue. He is the only person to be held responsible for this. So anyone, if you are understandably mad at Lauren, it's not her. Please give her the proper credit for having the guts to come and say wrong is wrong, because there's a lot of state parties right now that are turning the other cheek. They might, or other way. They might not agree with what's going on with this wholesale slander, but they don't have the balls to condemn it. Lauren did. So, to Lauren. And that eyeshadow was the fucking bomb. All right, now we're going to go on to Massachusetts. I am going to clip out as a separate segment that little Arizona part because I don't want Arizona to be at all associated with Massachusetts. So, and I see there's some comments. So this is going to be a very loose show about Massachusetts. I had a lot of people asking me questions online. So I would like anyone who happens to be listening that has these questions to bring them to chat. If I don't see them in chat, I'll try to remember to spontaneously address them. But if I don't, listen, I told people I was doing this show. I'm always very accessible unless you're very abusive. I even let Mr. What's his name again? The Mises Caucus's GOP Plants. I let him say whatever he wants on my YouTube channel. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I did block him from my Facebook page, but he's welcome on the YouTube channel. I did not block him from YouTube, but I don't need to give him space on my Facebook page, and I'm not going to give him space on my Facebook page. But if Mises Caucus's Closet, Republicans? Not right. If he wants to come on YouTube and comment, he won't get banned from here. But I don't want that shit on my Facebook page. My Facebook page is for my friends and supporters and good faith people. Okay? So let's go back up to the comments here. So I didn't protect the bad actor. I took care of that. And I want to also give kudos to Kenneth Olson, who came into chat. I would like to put his comment up on my screen. Kenneth Olson and I served on the LNC together. He's a friend of mine. We don't agree about the Mises Caucus. I think we are a good example of how people can disagree agreeably. And Kenneth said, "While I'm not a fan of the Mises Caucus, I don't think state affiliates should use their resources to attack them. So this is pretty atrocious for a volunteer to do." Agreed. And that's why I thought it was so important to make it very clear that the AZLP did not sanction this. They will not be working with that volunteer. And from what I understand, Spike Cohen's people will no longer be working with this volunteer anymore. And now that everyone knows his name, if he volunteers for your state party, buyer beware. That's it. He won't be volunteering for Colorado, I'll tell you that. Okay, let's continue here. I don't know, Robert, if that's Lauren Liberty. I think it is. But I'm not positive. If she's watching the stream, she can answer. Otherwise, I'll try to find out for you. Yeah, Lauren is cute. She is totally adorable. Okay, let's continue here. So Paul Lynch said, Tara DeSisto insinuated to certain expelled state committee member that she helps people with their bills when that state committee member was telling her the hardship her family is facing. And later on, he clarifies what COVID. Listen, not that I'm going to be comparing. People, analogies don't mean the things you are saying are equal. I know people are complete illiterates when it comes to literary forms, but even Hitler didn't kick every dog on his walk home. Hitler was probably nice to kittens. So I'm sure Tara DeSisto helps a lot of people. It doesn't matter. She's on the national payroll, and although she was absent for that vote, she was present for that meeting, did not voice any objections, and has not got on social media the day after this vote and condemned it, so she approves of it. Plus, she is the first person to publicly abuse a Massachusetts member by saying that their petition was aggression. So Tara doesn't get a pass. I was waiting to see if she condemned them today on social media. She did not. Hey, Jeremy, look forward to seeing you as well. The emphasis is on Massachusetts because they have a friendly board to do tyrannitarian things. The emphasis is not just on Massachusetts. There are 2 other states about to blow up that hopefully will not. I'm not at liberty to say which states they are right now. That the minute it happens, you know to come here to get the tea. Jeremy says, yes, that is Lauren Liberty on Clubhouse. Hey, Emily, how are you doing? And thank you. You know how fond I am of the AZLP. I'm not going to let you guys be slandered. All right, so let's continue now with Massachusetts. I had a question, and I invited the person to come to my show tonight, but I don't know if he was able to, who said, where in the Massachusetts bylaws does it permit them to have a recall election? For me, that question is very astounding coming from a libertarian, because we should be hugely in favor of recalls. However, I'd like to answer that question. The bylaws don't give authority for a recall in and of itself. What the bylaws give authority to is for members to call a special convention for any lawful purpose. A recall election is a lawful purpose. So their rights are much more expansive than just having a recall election. They can call a special convention for any purpose they wish. A recall fits right into it. That's exactly what those sorts of provisions are for, to give the members a means to rein in a rogue board. National should have recall rights. Because you got a rogue LNC who didn't like me criticizing them, and I think even the worst CAH haters amongst you now realize I was the canary in the coal mine. Everything that has happened since then is a waterfall from what happened to me. And I think these people, this LNC, the bad ones. There are 6 primary good ones. There's also some good alternates, but I'm just dealing with the primaries right now. I believe they are on a murder-suicide mission with this party. They're out to suicide themselves, and I mean that metaphorically, Aaron Adams, so you don't accuse me of bullicide or some other stupid shit. And they're out to kill the party on their way out. They're like a murderous, jealous ex-husband. It's disgusting. And if they do manage to kill this party, we can lay it at the feet of one person, David Sexton, who snuck his ass in behind Stephen Nikela, betrayed his primary to get a vote to remove me that they know they didn't have. And a state chair colluded with deceiving Stephen Nikela in doing this. So if this LNC manages to destroy this party, congratulations, David Sexton. Of course, the other 10 LNC members, they have a responsibility as well. However, if it wasn't for that complete backstabbing mood, thank you, Doug Kroll, because now I know who to block on Facebook. I love when the trash takes itself out. I thought I smelled something stinking up the place. Actually, let me go to Facebook and take care of that right now, because I do not like disgusting people on my Facebook timeline. But you're welcome to come insult me on YouTube. Because if you're going to insult me, you're at least going to make me money. Oh, I already did? Then I'm wondering where you're able to comment. I'll figure it out later. Rest assured, I'll get rid of you. No one else can see your comments, by the way, in the chat. Only I can. So I am going to stick you on ignore right now. Goodbye. Can't see your comments anymore. But feel free in the future to come on YouTube, because if you're going to insult me, you're at least going to make me money. Monetize the hate, baby. Alrighty. So that's where their rights to a recall is. Now let's do a brief recap of what happened, and then we're going to dissect Ashley Shade's completely fraudulent, lying letter. She accused other people of engaging in fraud, but she's the one who engaged in fraud, and she's elected to public office. That is sad. That is extremely sad. But first, let's recap what happened. So, 47 members of the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts signed a petition to have a special convention. The agenda they submitted for the special convention had on its agenda to set the number of members that would be elected at 9. That is the point of controversy. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up, because Ashley Shade fraudulently used that. We'll go over how she fraudulently used that. And to have a recall election. It wasn't to remove the board. It was to have a recall election. If the membership of the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts loved the job that Ashley Shade, Tara DeSisto, and the rest of that board were doing, they could reelect all of them. But apparently this board was scared that they would not get reelected by the members of Massachusetts. So they decided that they were just going to shut up the members of Massachusetts. And that's why I call them fascists. They are the libertarian fascists of Massachusetts. So what they did instead, first they claimed the petition was deficient because it said it was going to set the number of state committee members at 9. That's not a deficiency, but let's pretend like it was for the sake of argument, and then have an election. If that was in fact the case, that one provision was deficient, then you reject the petition. No muss, no fuss. Your petition is deficient. You then ask them to resubmit the petition. However, That wouldn't have been correct either, but I probably wouldn't be saying anything about it if that's what they did, because one deficient provision in the petition doesn't invalidate the whole petition. Plus, according to rules, it's the assembly itself that has the right to interpret its own bylaws, not the state committee, the assembly. So what should have happened is that the convention should have been called. Ashley or whoever was chairing it should have ruled it out of order based upon that deficiency. Then the membership would have had an opportunity to appeal the ruling of the chair. That is how rules work. So, that is what should have been done. But what they instead decided, we want to keep our seats, and we're scared of the membership of the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts. So what we're going to do is declare that anyone wanting to remove us is committing aggression against us, and we're going to expel them from the state party. That is what fascist tyrannitarians do. That is absolutely and positively repulsive. If we weren't within 6 months of a convention, they should be disaffiliated from the National Party for that. However, the national bylaws do not permit disaffiliation within 6 months of a convention. So the LNC cannot disaffiliate them. There are things that the LNC can do, however, contrary to Mr. Longstreth, Mr. Phillips, and Ms. Vest, who's such a brand new LNC member but somehow considers herself an expert. It takes a while to really learn the in and outs of the bylaws. I know she has a law degree. I've worked with plenty of lawyers in my 25 years, and most paralegals are doing all the work. Not the particular lawyer I'm working for. She works her ass off. She's the hardest working attorney I think I've ever worked for. Oh my God. But in general, I don't give a shit that you've got a law degree. That actually, our last chair prior to Whitney had a law degree. And Nick Sarwark had a law degree. That just tells you how law degrees are. Anyway, generally when you're brand new on the LNC, you probably should watch and learn for a while. But anyway, let's go to Ms. Ashley Shade's letter. I want to reiterate for the record again, I know Ashley personally. And some people are going to be very, very mad at me for saying this. I separate somebody's political persona from their personal persona. Ashley, as a person outside of the Libertarian Party, I like her a lot, and I think she has a beautiful spirit. I think she is very, very misguided and mistaken here. And if George Phillips all of a sudden now is happy at what they did, well, that's an about face from George Phillips. And then he's supporting corruption as well. Shame on him. But George Phillips isn't on the board. Average members could have whatever opinion they want to have. I'm not really concerned terribly about George Phillips. He's much more problematic in other ways. But I am surprised because he was taking Terra de Sisto. It is 47, Kenneth. It's 47 members merely for signing the petition. 2 of them were state committee members. And I applaud your integrity, Kenneth. I really do, because you know me well enough that if this were the Prague Caucus and you were on here, this was your show condemning it, I would be in chat doing the same thing you're doing right now. You know me so well that you know I would do that. Because this isn't about caucus to me. Right now, I'm not a huge fan of the Radical Caucus, and if they were the ones getting expelled, I'd be defending them. Even though I think they're radical in name only, most of them, not all of them. There are some really good radicals there. But like Susan Hogarth, she ain't no radical. She's a radical in name only, so is Richard Longstreth. But I would defend If there were no grounds like them trying to say the party position was rent was theft, I would defend the socialists against this. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. I'll take a look at it after tonight. I might not be able to respond tonight because after tonight, I have another affiliate asking me for some bylaws help. Before we get into Ashley's letter, there's just something I want to say here because there might be other people out here who can help. Ever since I got my registered parliamentarian certification and said, hey, I want to help libertarians. I don't care what caucus you're a part of. We all benefit from people knowing the rules and doing things proper. Oh my God, it's been like throwing a corn dog in a piranha tank. I've had people just go, "Urgh," and I don't mean like in a bad way. This party is desperate for professional help. Like if you're a lawyer, you're a professional parliamentarian, you've got some other skill. Please, please volunteer your time. We're not a cash-rich party. And most affiliates cannot afford to pay you, but they desperately, desperately need your help. If there are any other parliamentarians, my God, affiliates need your help. Please, please post publicly on social media that you'll help them because they really need your help. And there's also a lot of legal help that is needed. Okay, so let's continue because I don't have enough time to help everybody who wants my help. I don't. I wish I could. I'd have to quit my job. But I could do it probably for reasonable fees, but I don't want to charge libertarians. In the future, if this keeps up, perhaps I'm going to have to, but right now my conviction is I want to volunteer my time. But there's more demand on my time right now than there's time. Unfortunately. So let me pull up now, because I was sent it by email, the letter from Ms. Shade. But I've got to pull up my email, and we're going to dissect this because it is just absolutely terrible. And listen, I'm not a snitch. So even though I think Ms. Shade might have broken the law, I'm not going to snitch, is what I'm trying to say. The Massachusetts purge was definitely worse than January 6th. But if she was supposed to resign when she got elected, then she should have resigned before she chaired this committee. You can't realize that you have an obligation under the law, purge a bunch of people, and then go, oops, I'm going to resign at midnight. Now, I don't give a shit because I don't respect the authority of the state. I don't think she should have to obey any of that crap. She probably technically broke the law. I don't give a shit. Okay, let me find here. Let's see. I've got way too many emails. Hey there, Coalition Radio Network. Oh, here. No, that's the minutes from the purge, which I will be posting on Lpedia. Okay, here it is. Here's the letter. I'm going to pull it up to you guys. I'm going to do a screen share. So give me 1 second. Okay. You all should be seeing the letter from, let me pull it up to the top here. And the reason it says Brody is because Brody forwarded it to me. This was a letter that was mailed out to every, I guess, LPMA member. And Brody was the one who received it. You know how those letters go out. It says, tonight, the Fascist Libertarians Association of Massachusetts has decided to take authoritarian, I'm ad-libbing here a little bit. You can read what it actually says, but I'm translating it for you from doublespeak, from woke doublespeak into actual speak. to take authoritarian action necessary to keep our seats. She actually said, to maintain the integrity of and progress towards our party's goals. Our party means the people you purge, too. It's their party as well, Ms. Shade, of electing libertarians to office and seeing the flame of liberty manifest in our lifetimes by purging people and by acting like authoritarians. Hate to tell you, but the Mises Caucus has donated more money toward electing libertarians to office in the form of direct donations than the National Party has. Continuing here, the state committee has celebrated considerable wins with the election of Ashley Shade to North Adams City Council and Wade Hasty to the Williamstown Select Board, and in the midst of the most overbearing responses to COVID-19 and many other barriers, this party has persisted, as has many others, with Pennsylvania way outweighing any of this. But congratulations to Ms. Shade and Mr. Hasty. That still does not give you the authority to purge people, because it's on the backs of those people you had those successes. As Obama might say, you didn't build that. It says, however, within the Libertarian Fascist Association of Massachusetts, we've had threats of hostile intervention. No, you've had threats of people joining the party and taking the direction in a way that they see fit, which is the way conventions work and which is the way political parties work. Not when you have people who just want a social club and keep their seats. Seeking to impede our progress. I hate to tell you, Miss Arrogance, but your vision is not everyone's vision, and your vision is not the party's vision. The party's vision is what the voice of the members say it is, as long as it does not contradict the statement of principles. A cohort of members organized a petition seeking to usurp the party. No, they were seeking to get rid of a board that they didn't disagree with, which they have every right to do, and disregard the will of the members who voted in our last convention. They actually were asking the members who voted you guys in at your last convention if they've changed their mind. It is you guys who are usurping the will of the members at your last convention, who did not give you any kind of mandate to institute this bogus code of conduct and purge members. But let's stop right here. Ms. Shade, I think you are engaging in a little bit of hypocrisy, because you cheered the LNC's removal of me. Was that not the LNC disregarding the will of the members in the National Convention who elected me? Which is it, Miss Shade? You can't have it both ways. Now, however, the two are not equivalent, because what you guys did is worse. Because unlike Delaware, where the board just simply purged people, the Mises members were seeking to have a legal convention and ask every single member, Mises or not, every single member of the Libertarian Fascist Association of Massachusetts was able to attend this convention and vote. But apparently Miss Shade and her merry band of authoritarian fascists decided that they could not win again. If the LNC had been able to have a recall election and I was recalled, I would have respected that. Let's continue. This petition sought to replace the state committee with a special convention. Indeed, it did, as they have every right to do, and the special convention could have turned around and reelected you guys. Oh, I see a conversation about Jackie Perry is going. I am so consistent, it's fucking scary. I disagreed with the removal of Jackie Perry. Why? Because she was not accorded due process. And everyone, including Jackie Perry, is entitled to due process. And the Judicial Committee of the New Hampshire Party told the board they were incorrect. And guess what? Jackie Perry is now back in the party, or at least invited to be back in the party. Too bad, so sad. I'm sure she will earn a proper expulsion, and I hope they give her the trial she is entitled to. Jackie Perry was wrongly expelled the first time. I am not a fan of Jackie Perry. That is not a requirement for me to defend people's rights. And Robert Spina, I think it's arguable about whether invoking hexes is, but they can't, there's no such thing as pre-crime. She did these hexes while she was not a member. They can't not let her back in, and they can't expel her for things she did when she wasn't a member. Now, if she pulls that crap after she's a member again, then we can talk about it. But otherwise, what she did in the middle interim period there, she's entitled to do. Yeah, Ty, she asked people to steal my hair because she said she was going to get some graveyard dust or something like completely idiotic like that, and cast a hex on me. And she actually engaged in aggression against some poor women over in India because what people sent to her was some real human hair that was dyed pink, that you can get from wigs, and those are all donor hair from impoverished women in India, the country of India, that have to sell their hair. So, yeah, Jackie Perry just cast some hexes on some poor Indian women. Good thing hexes are bullshit. But yeah, that's what people did, and she fell for it, which I think is fucking hilarious, actually. I wouldn't think it was funny if hexes actually worked. But congratulations, Jackie, you just hexed a bunch of impoverished Indian women. Okay, let's continue. This was a clear attack on the will of the voting body of the 2021 LAMA convention and the state committee. So, Ms. Shade, was what the LNC did a clear attack on the delegates at the 2020 convention? I am asking for you to be consistent. But you won't be, will you? But no, asking the very same delegates whether they now wish to change their mind is not usurping the will. And I pray to God we insert a recall position in the national bylaws. Kenneth, I would be really, really interested, honestly, in your opinion on that. What do you think about the delegates of the immediately prior convention having a right of recall to LNC members? Like, it would have to be a pretty high threshold, but like how they can appeal decisions of the LNC right now by a petition of 10%, what would you think about something similar to recall LNC members? I'm really, because I respect your opinion, I'm really, really curious as to what you would think of that, because I think I'm going to submit a bylaws proposal. I did actually submit one for that back when I was on the bylaws committee, when Joe Bishop Henchman was chair of the bylaws committee. I mean, he actually was a pretty good chair of the bylaws committee. Okay, good. Like, I like getting confirmation from people whose judgment I respect. I think members should always have a right of recall, and particularly on the national level. And again, if I got recalled by the members, I would absolutely accept that. And the fact is, if I'm not reelected in 2022, I can accept that. The delegates decide. The delegates decide. I believe in recalls. Firmly believe it. I also believe in term limits, which has gotten shot down so many times. And as I promised, if I am reelected, I am voluntarily term limiting to 3 terms. I will not use my termus interruptus as an excuse to restart the clock. If I'm reelected, this will be my last consecutive term as secretary. Doesn't mean I wouldn't run for it at some point in the future, but I do think 3 consecutive terms without interruption is enough for any person to be in any one position. So I will live my principles. And if I'm reelected, that will be my last consecutive term right now as secretary. Just an FYI, because I have the courage of my convictions. In regards to the petition, the members have every right to submit a petition to a special state convention, just not to recall the board, apparently. The proposed agenda was to set the state committee to 9 members, typo, and then elect a new state committee. They're allowed to do that. It says Article 4, it says each regular convention shall elect, as provided in the bylaws, up to 9 state committee members. Correct. They weren't doing anything to change the election that will occur at the regular convention. Note what that bylaw doesn't say. Only at every regular state convention. Also in the section on special conventions, it does not say except for recalls. You are making shit up, Ashley. You are pulling shit out of your ass. And where it says shall elect up to 9 state committee members, that means their petition saying at this convention we're going to elect 9 is fully compliant with the Constitution. You are absolutely and utterly incorrect, Miss Shade. And in fact, I do not trust your interpretation of rules or the Constitution, considering that just 2 months ago, you told your state committee that they were not allowed to appeal rulings of the chair. And since at the time I was not familiar with Francis and Francis, I said to those members, well, that sucks. I can't believe Francis and Francis doesn't allow you to appeal the ruling from the chair. So you want to know what my little ass did? It went and bought a copy of Francis and Francis, and lo and behold, yes, you can appeal the ruling of the chair in Francis and Francis. So Ashley's been lying to her board for over a year in order to have her rulings be unchallengeable. It says, in order to take up the matters which were proposed on the agenda, submitted changes to the LMAA Constitution. No, it did not. You are absolutely and utterly incorrect. What are your parliamentary qualifications, Ms. Shade? Plus, if that was your opinion, no, they don't have a JC, unfortunately, Kenneth. I am so glad we instituted a JC in Colorado. Even a bad JC, like the national one, is better than no JC. I'm not thrilled with some of the members of the JC in Colorado, but I'd much rather have them than not have them. Every state party should have a JC. And I say that even after getting fucked over by the national JC. I still prefer a JC to no JC. And you'll remember, weren't you on the term, Kenneth, where I threw the fit about Sarwark fucking up the convention where we didn't have a JC? Can you imagine if that was this year? Holy shit. You could see why I threw such a fit. It says, so she's just absolutely wrong. It does not require changes to the Constitution. And that is up to members in convention to decide. She could have made that ruling at the special convention, where the special of convention would have had the right to appeal her ruling. So all of these next points are irrelevant. And then she goes, to understand the action to expel members, here are the facts. Let me give you one fact. Libertarians believe in due process. None of the members who were expelled were given notice that their expulsion was being considered at this meeting, which was held in secret. And it was tried to be held in secret from 2 state committee members. They were not given the right to defend themselves. So she absolutely denied due process. Due process is absolutely a fundamental right of members and a fundamental libertarian principle. Plus, the code of conduct that she passed, she just violated, because you're not allowed to talk shit about other libertarians according to their code of conduct. So when are you going to expel your own ass? Let's continue. An outside hostile organization, hostile to your particular ideology, but not hostile to libertarian ideology. There are many different flavors of libertarian ideology. They're hostile to your flavor of it. Too bad, so sad. You're hostile to my flavor of it. I never in a million years would think that you should be expelled. And their leadership has made clear over the past year that their public intent is to, quote unquote, take over affiliates in the party. And you know damn well all that means is to out-recruit you. But I guess you want a small social club of just people that you agree with. You are lying about their intentions, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Their intent is to, quote unquote, take over by out-recruiting. They have a different vision for the libertarian flavor we should be promoting. Unless you are hostile by not agreeing with their flavor, they are not hostile by not agreeing with yours. As Joshua Smith said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The purpose of the takeover is to control the delegate allocation. Well, who votes for the delegate allocation? The members of the Libertarian Party in Massachusetts. So you've just declared war on your own membership. And funny, you want to remove all libertarians who don't agree with your positions from the LP. You cheered my removal because I don't agree with you. You are a hypocrite of the biggest sort, Ashley Shade. The organizers of this petition are state coordinators. Well, you are the state chair, not the state chair, the national chair of Outright. What if somebody didn't agree with some of the radical agendas of Outright, which aren't in our platform? Such as not having gender indicators on state identification. Should you be able to be removed because somebody doesn't agree with your flavor? That position's not against our statement of principles. And in fact, I happen to agree with you. I don't think we should have any state ID at all. But if we're going to have state ID, I don't think state ID should have gender indicators. But most people in the party don't agree with you, Ashley. I do, but most people don't. So should they be able to throw you out? Of the 47 signatures on the petition, 36 of them signed up as members after the last state convention. So what? In the provision for a special convention, it doesn't say you have to have been a member before the last state convention. Colorado's special convention provisions do have things such as that. And if you had wanted that in your constitution, you could have had it. You chose not to. 2 signatories were not dues-paying members. I don't know if that's true, but let's pretend like it was. They still had enough signatures. 2 other memberships were expired and renewed after the petition was signed. Okay, let's pretend like that is true. 43 signatures is still more than enough. Only 10 members were dues-paying members who were eligible to participate at the previous convention. What do you have against new members, Ashley Shade? That's not a rule. You're making that up out of your ass. But guess who gets to participate at the special convention? Everybody, including everybody who was able to participate at the last convention. What's more important is what you are leaving unsaid here, Miss Hypocrite. The LAMA Constitution Preamble Name and Purpose is as follows. We, the Libertarians of Massachusetts, but for you guys, it's the fascists, do hereby unite to form the Libertarian Fascist Association of Massachusetts in order to give voice to and implement the fundamental principle of libertarianism that no person, group of people, or government has the right to initiate force against any other person, group of people, or government. Then why did you, and the Libertarian Party has always considered fraud to be a form of force, why did you initiate fraud against your membership? You are the ones violating your Constitution. We shall do this by supporting candidates for public office. These people do support candidates for public office. Publicizing the principles and goals of libertarianism. They do it more than you do. And taking any actions that the state convention or the state committee will deem to further our aims. The state convention and the state committee both have deemed within your aims to allow your members to have a special convention. Understanding that our goal is to oppose force, which includes fraud. Why did you commit fraud? Our goals are clearly not in line with the Mises Caucus. How is it not? The Mises Caucus has donated more money to get candidates elected personally, like one-on-one donations, than the National Party has, and more than you have, and more than the Libertarian Party, Libertarian Association of Massachusetts has. The LMAO state convention acted within the bylaws. Yes, they did. And the bylaws in place at that time allowed any member to call any certain number of members. It's a certain percentage of the current membership, not the membership that were in place at the time of the convention, to call a special convention. This resulted, notice, like she just did a huge leap. This resulted in the expulsion of all members who signed the petition, which they were allowed to do. You threw out people for exercising their rights under the Constitution while you violated the fraud provision of the Constitution. If violating that is grounds for expulsion, you should be expelled. But let me be clear, I don't favor the expulsion of anybody. But if we're going to go by your rules, that entire state committee should be expelled. This is my last communication as chair of the LMAA, and I will officially resign upon submission of this letter. If, as people say, and I don't know if this is true, and I really don't even give a shit if it's true, that you were supposed to resign upon your election, you should not have been chairing this meeting. To those libertarians who believe in liberty for all individuals who stand against hostile takeovers, which I do, which is why I'm opposing your fascist move, I support you and stand with you in liberty. I do not support you, Ashley Shade, and what you call liberty is authoritarian fascism. And I hope you get the reward you so richly deserve. Okay, let's go back to me. So, I hope that explained what happened in Massachusetts. I hope that if these 47 members are continued to be abused for the 5 months leading up to convention, that the entire delegation of this fraudulent board who have disqualified themselves is challenged. And I vow to do everything in my power to convince the delegates of the Libertarian Party of Colorado to challenge the delegation that's seated by this fraudulent board. Maybe I'll stand alone. I doubt it. Further, I call upon the next LNC, if this abuse continues and is not rectified, that one of their first orders of business will be to disaffiliate the Fascist Association of Massachusetts and affiliate an actual libertarian organization that honors the rights of all members, even those members they don't agree with, especially those members they don't agree with, in the same way that I defended Jackie Perry here. And thank you, Kenneth, for being fair, even in disagreement. So that's really all I have to say for tonight. I am just I am so heartbroken over what's happening to our party. It is not libertarian. I get letters from all over the world, from libertarian movements in other countries, and they are mortified at what's going on here in America. 2 more state parties are on the brink of blowing up. And one of them has direct involvement of an LNC member. Not in their role as an LNC member, but an LNC member. Just like Massachusetts has the touch of the National Party in it with Tara DeSisto's involvement. That is corrupt to the core. Oh, I forgot. Thank you, Libertarian. Against lynching. I forgot about the useless LNC and John Phillips' online brain malfunction. Thank you. So we're done, at least specifically with what happened in Massachusetts and with Miss Shade. First, before we go to John Phillips' online brain malfunction, where he had a stroke in front of everybody on Facebook, let's talk about the useless LNC. I congratulate Eric Radsep for having the complete backbone to call for a special meeting for the LNC to talk about this. I congratulate every single person, including Aaron Adams, who I don't normally agree with on anything, which is why I entitled this the almost terrible 11 or whatever I said, corrupt 11, because she sponsored the motion. Shame on Richard Longstreth and Beth Vest and John Phillips and Laura Epke and Valerie Sarwark for trying to scuttle even a discussion. So the LNC cannot disaffiliate Massachusetts, but what can they do? They can pass a resolution condemning this action. They could do that. That's not interfering with the autonomy of an affiliate. They could actually pass a resolution recommending that the next LNC look into this matter. There's plenty of things they could do. I'm not even saying what should be the best thing right at this point. But there are plenty of things they can do that aren't interfering in the autonomy of an affiliate. But frankly, if this were outside of the 6-month window, they should be disaffiliated. Now let's go to John Phillips' brain malfunction that he had online. I put this on my social media. I did. So let me pull up my social media. Just give me 1 second. I got to switch accounts here because somebody had written me on my alt account and I didn't see it forever and they thought I was ghosting them. I felt so bad. But if you write me on my alt account, I don't sign into that until I'm banned from my regular account. The last time I got banned, by the way, was for calling John Phillips a whiny little bitch. For crying when he voted to remove me. But I can say it on YouTube. He is a whiny little bitch. Okay, here's the online brain malfunction. Okay, here's John. Group A, we're going to take over. We're going to take over. We're going to flood your conventions. With what? Libertarians? Don't we want libertarians to come to convention and skirt the edges of the bylaws and take over? John Phillips, liar, liar, pants on fire. Tell the truth, Pinocchio. Please do explain how delegates who meet the requirements under the bylaws, including any seasoning requirements, which every state should have seasoning requirements, and shame on your state if you don't have seasoning requirements. How is that skirting the edges of the bylaws? Do explain. It's just skirting the edges of the bylaws because you don't happen to agree with their flavor of libertarianism? This is an outright lie. B, no, don't think we'll let you, and some of us may use similar tactics to stop you. Legitimate delegates going to convention under all of the qualifications of the bylaws is similar, according to John Phillips, to a secret board meeting to expel 47 legitimate members without due process for the sin of signing a petition which they are allowed to do under their constitution. Excuse me? What? John, honestly, did you just have a stroke? Because if you had a stroke, I'm going to feel real bad for making fun of you. Group A, when it doesn't go their way, you mean when people abuse them? You can't do that, mommy? Nothing to see here? You are mocking 47 libertarians who got expelled merely for signing a petition, and not all of those members were even Mises members. How dare you? I hope you are never let near a leadership position again. This isn't your only malfunction. You've been doing this a long time. Before any of you get your panties in a bunch, oh, dear me, do you hear that, Massachusetts members? You being upset about being expelled, John Phillips just said it's just you getting your poor little panties up in a bunch. If you ever got expelled without due process from the Libertarian Party of Illinois, John, I would be the first to defend you. I would hold my nose while I'm doing it. But I would defend you. Kenneth Olson, I am a huge proponent of seasoning requirements. I don't always agree with the Mises caucus on everything. I don't. They know I don't agree, and you and I disagree here, Kenneth. You know for a fact, you know really well, I don't agree with the deletion of the platform. You know that well. You and I butted heads on that one. So I don't walk lockstep with anybody. Nobody tells me what to think. So on that, I think they're wrong. And I think, that, and I don't, Kay Hansen, that just goes to show that you do not pay attention to what I say. At all. Because if you went back, I'm not even going to talk to somebody who's just completely irrational. Anybody who thinks that all I do is defend anybody is smoking some crack. Will you listen, dude? I got something to say to you, Kay Hansen. Whatever you're smoking, you are being a stingy, selfish libertarian, and I demand that you share with the rest of the class, because that seems like some good shit, man, and I want some. All right, Group A and Group B are interchangeable on this from what I've seen. So, a state committee committing fraud, meeting in secret session to expel 47 members for merely signing a petition is equivalent to John Phillips of legitimate party members who have paid their dues, met the seasoning requirements, merely showing up at convention. That is equivalent to him. Did aliens abduct you and suck out your brain through your anus? That's what I want to know, John. Really, that is what I want to know. Because that's the only explanation I can think of for that most stupid of statements. And the fact that you said that publicly, I can't even. I just can't even. But as I've said regarding California, I'm no longer a California member, so I can say, my opinions on things in general. But when it comes to things like that, it's up to the members of California. I'm no longer a California member, and I'm very glad I'm not, because I also was in favor of protecting your delegation, and I am proud of California for getting rid of out-of-state members. Pennsylvania needs to do that next, and I am a member of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, and I will vote for them not allowing me to be a member anymore, because each state needs to protect their delegation and have it just for residents of that state. I have felt very strongly about that as well. So I supported California's decision to disallow me from being a member. Colorado has never allowed out-of-state members, and I'm glad. I'm very proud of Colorado for that. Okay, did I cover everything this time? Now, at the very end, I'll do my shameless grifting because I didn't at the beginning because I wanted to respect Lauren's time. January is a very tough, and I might come up with more stuff, so don't leave now. Don't leave now because sometimes I go, oh, I didn't cover whatever. I'm going to be at the LPPA convention, by the way, Kenneth. And yeah, if that's a proposal, I am going to vote for it. But so I'm going to take care of the grifting. January is a very tough month for YouTubers. If you could please hit subscribe if you haven't so far. I thank my haters for boosting my algorithm because it gives me ad revenue. So I encourage you, Kay Hansen, who else was in here saying nasty shit? I don't remember all the names. But please do come back to each of my streams and comment often because it boosts the amount of money I make per ad. And I truly, truly appreciate you helping me. And so YouTube, tough month. January, yes. I lost a couple patrons the beginning of this month due to not them disagreeing with my content. In fact, I have promises from both of them to redo their subscription when they're able to. But it being a tough time with COVID and everything going on, people are having a tough time. And if you are not, and you enjoy this type of content, which you are not getting anywhere else, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. You also get access to my private Discord server where I share more intimate details that I used to share on Facebook and get mocked for it. So I don't do that anymore. I'm very open with the fact that I struggle with depression, that I have autism, things like that. I share those more personal struggles now in my Discord chamber. Hey, Ben, how are you doing? And super chats. I talked to, how long was I online for? Listen, you guys got an hour and 16 minutes of entertainment. That was better than a homeowners association meeting. So all super chats matter. Remember that super chats all go to support my campaign. That's the commitment I'm making, and I do give an accounting for it. If you're a donor to my campaign, be it through super chat or through, and Colorado is 90 days. I do think 90 days is the sweet spot, to be honest with you. But we also don't have dues in Colorado, which may make a difference. You know, I haven't really thought that through. Definitely 90 days of being a registered libertarian. The seasoning requirement for dues, that I really don't have an opinion on because we don't have dues in Colorado, so I don't have much experience with that. Oh yeah, so and Pennsylvania is 180 days. That's way too much. So what the crap was I going to say? Oh, so all super chats matter, and it does go to support my campaign. In the low bar, there is for crypto also my Amazon wish list, which the only things that are on my Amazon wish list are things to make the show better. And if you shop at Amazon a lot, like I do, if you start your shopping through one of my affiliate links, you don't have to buy the item that's in the affiliate link. Any qualifying item you buy in that session, because Amazon puts a cookie on your system, will count towards me. And I earn a commission on qualified items that doesn't cost you a damn thing. Doesn't cost you a damn thing at all. Okay, what else? I think that was it. Yes, I think that was it. And patrons, we're going through Radicals for Capitalism, which is such a fantastic book. The next book we will be going through as patron-only content is The Problem of Political Authority by, I believe it's Michael Schumer. And I've been so looking forward to reading that book because he's a Colorado professor. And we've been having a really good time with it. But I thank you guys for spending this time with me. I do hope you'll consider becoming a patron. Also in the low bar, if you would like to support my campaign, the link is down there. Trying to get to as many state conventions as I can, and the ones I can't get to pay for my campaign manager. I am so blessed to have DL Cummings as my campaign manager. And I will be in California for the Sunday portion only. I will be in Virginia for the Saturday portion. This coming up weekend, I will be in Arizona, and DL Cummings will be representing me in Georgia. Then I have a week off. Then the week after that, I am the parliamentarian for the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, which I'm sure will just warm the cockles of Nick Sarwark's cold little heart. All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome night. And now, Kay Hansen, I will post that. Actually, I'll announce that maybe next show. Remind me if I forget. Remind me if I forget. Yay, thank you. Thank you, Kenneth. I so appreciate it. And I want to show you something funny what happens on my screen. Let me show you the way this appears on my screen. So it says $5 super sticker, lemon character moving his head from left to right with his mouth wide open and red hearts in his eyes. So now I have to visualize that because that's how my program does it. It sounds adorable. All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome night. I truly do. And I wish we could all just unite in love of this party and realize not everyone's going to agree with us. And if we want to advance our flavor of libertarianism, you have to out-recruit and out-compete. That is the libertarian way, not secret expulsions. Very, very sad that this is happening. All right, everyone. I truly love you and have an awesome night.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to